Hi guys, and welcome to one of my IM video reviews. Today we will be reviewing KBear NZ02 IMs. These are marketed as gaming headphones. Before we begin, as usual, all the links in the video description and my test system setup details also in the video description for those of you that would be interested in the pairing equipment that I've used for my tests. So, why do I even test those? Well, I've been using KBear aftermarket headphone cable for about 2 years now. It was cheap and it was unexpectedly good for the price I've paid. You may have seen some of my reviews for larger headphones linking to that cable as an option to replace single-ended cable with a balanced cable. So when I've learned that the same company actually makes headphones too, I got interested in trying one and checking if it also has a good price to performance ratio. So here we are with KBear NZ02, a $15 IM set targeted towards gamers, as in 2025 everything is always targeted towards gamers. So let's talk about some numbers. The specification says that the sensitivity is 105 decibels, the frequency range is anything between 20 Hz and 20 kHz, meaning that's just the typical numbers given on any headphones. And these are single driver dynamic IMs with impedance of 16 ohms. You can actually see the driver inside. When it comes to the packaging, you are getting small box, you are getting 3 sets of tips. These are the standard sized ones. You are getting one smaller and one larger, and you are getting the headphones with the cable attached to them, it looks like the cable should be removable, right? But it's not. And it's also described in the online manual as something that could be removed, but again, it cannot. So do not try to force that, do not try to pull that, because it may end up badly. I can't explain why, but I like the packaging. The interesting and funny thing here is that this is actually production batch number 1, so these will surely be collectible item at some point in time. Now let's talk about the build and let's talk about the comfort. The cable is very soft. It doesn't have any kind of microphonic qualities, so that's very good. But it doesn't have any kind of block for the chin. But I can understand that because this is a version with inline microphone, so it would be very hard to have something like that. The cable looks really good. I haven't seen something like that. Most of the cables right now are braided cables, and this one is not braided, but it still looks very good. My only gripe is that, as you've seen, it's not removable. The plug, it's a 4-point plug. It does seem to be gold plated, although it doesn't have a very strong yellow color, but it does seem to be a fully gold plated connector. And you can see the wires inside of the plastic. Yeah. So the drivers and the headphones themselves. That's supposed to be zinc plated metal plate. It's very smooth. It's very smooth. It has satin finish. You can actually get those headphones in a number of colors. I went with silver, but I've seen black ones, red ones, I think blue ones too. So that may be a nice thing. And they are made of the translucent plastic, maybe some kind of resin. And you can see the actual driver inside. It looks like a standard 10mm driver, and we have a very fine mesh on the nozzle. I have to admit that this is the finest mesh on the nozzle that I've seen in my IM collection. Most of those will have some kind of metal mesh. This one is so fine that without a magnifying glass I wasn't able to see single parts of the fabric. Okay, so that was about the build, about the cable. Comfort. These are very light and this makes them very comfortable. With the largest set of tips, not those ones, but the larger ones, I was quickly forgetting that I'm wearing anything at all. So this is an important factor if you're considering that these are targeted towards gamers. So the idea is that you would be wearing them for hours. Now, let's talk about the important thing here, so the sound quality. The bass. Let's start with the bass. The first surprise is the bass. Why? Because it's neither bloated, neither it blows your head open. It's neutral, and that's in line with the rest of the band. The bass is there when it's needed, but it's not muddy or slow. It's not super detailed, remember the price. I really like its quality and quantity. Sorry, I had to pause because there was a plane flying over my house, so it was noisy. So anyway, I like the quality, I like the quantity. It's a nice surprise in $15 headphones, and these were tuned, when it comes to the bass, these were tuned by someone with quite good taste. Now moving on to mid-range. Mid-range is slightly, just very slightly warm, and it works great for vocals. It's also quite detailed and smooth, and it's smooth in a good sense of the word. There is no sibilance, and I expected some. For that price and for that target audience, I expected some sibilance. Vocals sound clear and natural, and I like that a lot. Moving on to treble. Treble is another nice surprise. It's open and it's transparent with good extension, but it's not dry, it's not harsh or sibilant. It has a lot of air and there is no listening fatigue. And again, that's a nice surprise because for the price and for the target audience, I was expecting a dry, analytical and maybe somewhat harsh tuning. And nothing of that turned true. These are smooth, these are airy, and these are extended. Now, let's talk about some technicalities. And let's start with the detail. We have another surprise here. They have quite a lot of detail, but they do need drive. If you will connect them to something like your headphone output in your mobile phone or something like that, they will not give you all the things they could give you if you drive them with some kind of USB dongle or mobile player. When they are driven with a good source, they will give you amazing, for the price, amount of detail. For example, I loved electric guitars in Meatloaf. I would do anything for love, as the song can get quite busy at times, and yet still everything was clear, and the riffs of the guitars on the left side were always clear and vibrant. So that was the point when I realized that these are actually quite good for the price. I haven't expected them to be able to convey the layering in this track, but they did. They are also able to show all MP3 compression artifacts. If your source is up to it, these are detailed enough to give you on a plate all the problems with MP3 compressed tracks. So these are not regular $15 cheap IMs, these are better. Now moving on to scene and imaging. That was honestly another surprise because the imaging was good. Even if the scene is not very deep, it still is wide in an effortless way with good center image for vocals. These are really not expensive, and in my experience, it's quite hard to do imaging right when you're on the budget. It's the first. Let's talk about it this way. For me, the first thing that has to be right is the frequency response, and that's the easiest thing to do. The next step on the ladder is to be able to have a good detail retrieval. If you have a frequency response, that's okay. Then you can work on your detail retrieval. And the last step on the ladder is having all the spatial cues, all the necessary things to have imaging right. And these check all three boxes. Now, let's have a summary for this short review. They are a very nice surprise. So in a way, it's the same as it was with the cable. At the time when I was ordering the cable, I was in the need to have something quickly, and I wasn't really caring about the quality. I actually had prepared to be replacing the cable in a month or two. But the cable proven itself to be rather good, and so are these. The build quality is okayish. It could be better. I would expect the cable to be removable, but the sound quality is good, and that's the surprise. I wasn't expecting that level of refinement and taste in tuning for such a low price IM set. In a way, that can be my mistake, because if you are making and selling headphone replacement cables, then there is a high chance that you have guys with good ears. I've seen some other reviews for those headphones that said that these were lacking detail. They don't, but they do need some good drive, and this means that probably the sensitivity given on the box, and that was quite high, because the sensitivity was 105 decibels, is probably not right. They are probably less sensitive, and that's why they sound better with better sources. So these cheap KBear NZ02 are a nice surprise, as my time with them was spent with joy and pleasure. I was doing the review when I was hiking in the mountains, and in the evenings I was sitting down with my mobile player and a couple of IM sets that I've taken with me for the review, and I was listening to my music, I was taking some notes, I was listening to my music and taking some more notes, and with those I just went on listening to my songs to the late in the night. And again, just $15. So I would love them to have a replaceable cable, but that's me just being weird. No one would expect to have something like that in such cheap headphones, and more than that, no one would replace or invest in another cable with headphones so cheap. On the other hand, stock cable looks really interesting, and my fingers are itching to try to mount regular 0.78 millimeter plugs and check this cable with other IMs from my collection. So for $15 these are good, and again these have very nice tuning with a lot of transparency and detail, and that's unexpected, so they will be a good set for gamers. They do look cheap, but they do sound good, and I'm glad that I got them. So I'm keeping my fingers crossed for the KBear company. If you guys will be making more headphones, and if you'll be learning along the way, so I'll be watching you. Again, it's quite amazing how much of a good sound you can get for very little money nowadays, thanks to arms race and cheap EMs. I started my adventure with IMs about 15 years ago, and 15 years ago these would sell probably for something like, I would dare to say, $500. Right now they can be yours for $15, and this shows the progress that's been made during those years. And we can only be happy with that, because with every passing year the sound quality gets better and the IEMs, the other headphones, are getting more and more affordable. So yay for us. Thanks for watching. If you like that review, stay tuned for more reviews like that. I'm mostly reviewing speakers, amplifiers, preamplifiers, etc. But now and then I'm dipping my toes in things like IEMs, headphones, mobile players, because those are the things that I'm also using. So thanks for watching and have a wonderful day, guys. See you next time.